Could you see Hercules that's black growing up? Would you think that that'd be a good idea to do that to that movie?
I'm thinking this kind of branches off into a separate topic also, where it blends into a different topic. I don't care about that stuff. Like when I see it, when I see it, it doesn't bother me, I should say. Only time it does is when it feels forced. It's like the same thing with the surge in LGBT representation and everything. It's just like it's damn near impossible to find anything that Netflix has created in the past 5 years that doesn't have a like an obligatory member of the LGBT community in it somewhere. And my problem with it comes only when it doesn't feel organic, when it feels like it's done in a pandering way. Because it's like if you have a show and because like most of the time it feels like somebody came to them with a script, or, like most people do. I'm pretty sure, majority of the shows and movies that get greenlit nowadays, it's like somebody came to that studio with a script. It wasn't the studio that came up with it themselves. So if most of the time it feels like somebody brought them a script of a fully completed out movie or whatever, and then they gave them the script. They were like, hey, we'll do this movie, but we got some notes. Like anything else, they always had notes. But it was like, hey, you have to have a black character in here. Yeah. I'm like, we see some problems. For one, you don't have any black people in here. And you have to have, a LGBT person in here as well. So now this person has to rewrite the script and just throw a person in here. And it may be a little bit easier with the black person, depending, but as far, not black person, just a race, right? Regardless, like a minority person. It may be a little bit easier to write that in there and have it make sense. But then they throw in, like, just for instance, they throw in like a non-binary person in there. And then all of a sudden, this person is in this, is in this role or whatever, and it doesn't feel real. Like they'll introduce the character and be like, hey, this person is, their pronouns are they, them. And then it's just like everybody just immediately makes no mistakes in misgendering them, or they call them, nobody says her or him by accident, and nobody has any questions about it. Nobody's curious about it. It's just like, that's not the real world. Like it feels like you just threw this person in here. Like this person doesn't have any background. This person isn't, a fleshed out real life human being. And it's like in the real world, if you have a friend group that's already established, and then somebody, brings their, an extra person in who happens to be, a non-binary person, somebody in that friend group is going to have some kind of questions. There's no way that if you got a group of 5 or 6 or 7 family group people, every last one of them are super open-minded and super comfortable with, with this. Not to say that, there's always going to be somebody who, there's always an asshole that refuses to use the person's preferred pronouns or whatever like that. And it's just like, it's just like, there would be some people. I mean, hey, you do what you do what you feel, but at the same time, it's like there are people who are going to make mistakes. And then when you throw these people in these situations and don't flesh out these characters and the interactions and stuff, it makes it feel weird. And it's the same thing with, like you say, with the black people and the recasting of, characters who have been traditionally white throughout, their history or whatever. And it's like, if it's a person who can fit this role and I can see playing this role well, I'm like, I don't care. But then if it feels it's like, all right, somebody just told them that, hey, make sure that this person is a minority, then it's just like, all right, that's fucking stupid.
I think it was done though because of that reason. Like you had mentioned the DEI part, and I agree in terms of like, I don't think it should be forced, but it was during that time where everybody was like, oh, well, it has to be like this because we want equal representation. And I was listening to these. They were ex-Hollywood writers. They wrote movies and actually did a lot of, Hollywood stuff. And they were talking about how normally you would have 5 writers working on any given story. And this is going back to like the 90s in terms of their movies. But then when DEI and these switches came along, like you said, it's like now you have to include the LGBT person. You got to have an Asian in here. You got to have a black. So they would incorporate all these other different writers. So instead of 5 writers, now you got like 15 writers. And now everybody has their own idea. And what started off as a somewhat developable script is now it's all over the place because you got 15 other people to sit there and try to codify with putting their little input so they could be shown as being represented through something. And the problem that I had with it when it initially started happening was, I thought about it, watching, I'm a huge 80s movies fan. And even then it was more so for the story part. I can't think of a time where I ever watched a movie and was like, man, I wish this had more black people in it. Because if I wanted to watch a black movie, I would go watch one. And it's not like, you had a shy movies coming through like the black exploitation era, even though they was like some low budget, but some of those movies were damn good. And it's like, so there is representation. I just didn't understand the representation in terms of, because it's a Disney movie, so we got to have a black Ariel. I was like, I like the little girl that played her. I was like, she can sing. I was like, but was there a need for it? It's like, is that gonna, you doing it for a money aspect? You trying to bring more black people to come see Disney movies? I'm pretty sure it was some type of idea behind it, but it's like, to me, it wasn't necessary. And I feel more put off if, like you said, if it's forced, if they're telling me that I have to accept this. And if I don't, then, I'm a racist or I'm something, whatever, because you don't want a black Ariel.
Yeah, like even like because like I'm going off the base of what like Snoop Dogg said when he got caught up in the whole thing. Like it's like at least from a parent perspective, even from when I was growing up, putting the DEI or the LGBTQ plus, in there, and when it's forced, it doesn't feel like it makes sense for you to do that, because as a parent, your number one thing is to protect your parent. Like you could just be having a regular day and, hey, my 6-year-old is not ready for that. Like now he's asking all these questions, especially if it's just forced and you just popped it in there for 5 minutes, but it doesn't make sense. Now they got to correct their language and make sure they don't, misgender them, say they, them, non-binary. Like now it feels like, now you're forcing me to have that extra conversation with my kid, in which I might not be comfortable to have that conversation with. I'm pretty sure a lot of parents fall into that category like that. But then it's like, do it where it makes sense. Like the Black Spider-Man. Like everybody loves the Black Spider-Man. Like it kind of makes sense. Like y'all rolled it out good. Like it makes sense in the movie.
Half and half.
Is he?
Yeah, it's Dominican and black, right?
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
So.
Well,
I thought it was just
black. You're one of those.
His last name Morales. I think he's Puerto Rican. Is he Puerto Rican? He might be
one of those Afro-Caribbean.
Yeah, see, it's just.
Yeah,
but I guess with the complete swap, like I don't know. Do I want to see goddamn
I mean, I understand.
I understand it, but then it's do it technically. At the span of the moment.
Imagine a gay Hulk. That shit would be horrifying. That shit would be a horror. That would be a horror movie.
Depend on what you like. I guess.
The harder he get, the madder he get, the harder he get. Bull
smash. Like no smash, Hulk. No smash.
I get it. I get the.
You try to start.
I see the upside of it. Because I'm like, I can't tell you how many videos that I've seen of the little black girl sitting in front of the TV, and then the parent put on the trailer for the the new LeMay movie, and the little black girl sitting there, she's like, oh my God, she looks like me, and she's seeing this character that she's all like the little girl's heard of Little Mermaid and seen whether it be the cartoons or the little books or whatever the case. And, you see the little girl's face light up when she sees this girl that looks like her, in this role that she's so familiar with. And I'm like, I don't discount that, at all whatsoever. I'm like, I can see the positive effects that it has.